Darren Ravel from Collect, and I'm joined by Adrian Wojnarowski and Jake Flores from Daps Bounty. This is a real treat. First to see Woj, because I haven't seen you in a long time. You look like you haven't sent a Woj bomb in a while. You look healthy. You look like you have you're flush in the face. As someone who's been in it probably 5 years, 6 years less than you, you can see that I'm gaunt and I'm still in the game a little bit more. But now you're at St. Bonaventure and running their NIL program, a total dream. But today we are here to talk about Daps Bounty. Let me go to you first, Jake. Give me the idea behind this company.
Yeah, Darren, thanks so much for having us. So what we're building in the big picture is a marketplace to connect athletes and people around the game with their fans in some really fun and unique ways. And the product that we're getting ready to launch has two core features. The first is a demand-driven marketplace, which you can think of as reverse eBay. Sports fans and collectors are able to come on and make an offer to any athlete, starting predominantly with the focus on basketball for any collectible or experience that they want from them. And from there, the platform gets it in front of the athlete who can choose to accept or reject. So everything from game-worn items from specific games and big moments to experiences like meeting a player in person after a game, jumping on a video call. And the second feature that we're so excited to be getting out there with Woj are collections, where we're teaming up with incredible people around the game and helping them share specific items and experiences with the world. We're so honored to be teaming up with Woj and to share things that we think mean so much to, don't think it's an exaggeration to say the vast majority of basketball fans across the world and to help do so for St. Bonaventure.
Well, I could tell you that this has kind of been happening, but never in an organized way. And you can't get to the agent, you can't get to the player, or maybe the boyfriend owns it all, or whatever it is. But yes, so it's certainly a great idea. Woj, we're talking about your historic iPhones. Why did you hold on to them over the years? Did you think that this day would come?
It's not, Darren. It's funny I would pretty regularly upgrade my iPhone. I'd go through them faster than maybe the average person, probably for obvious reason. And sometimes, you get a rebate by sending the phone in the box. And I just was always negligent in doing it. And so it was never really by design. And I just had a stack of them by my desk in my home office, actually just a few feet away. And when I did make my announcement that I was going to retire from ESPN and retire from, the journalism business, it was suggested to me by my representatives, Matt Kramer, Dave Coonan at CAA, that I should hold on to my credentials, which I had accumulated through the years. And then it wasn't too much later that they came back to me with Jake's idea. And so we started down this road. But I can't tell you it was by great design that I held on to them. Because if I was really smart about it, I would have kept my Blackberries around. And I may find them at some point in my house, in a cabinet, in a closet. I have not yet found the Blackberries.
Okay, so I have to ask you this. This is probably going to be a little bit all over the place, but have you had carpal tunnel surgery?
No, no, no.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, I've
because
never had the bigger problem I would have sometimes was if I would hold my arms to the side and I could see it in photos of me, there was just sort of an indentation of my wrist. And it was pretty obvious why it was. It doesn't look great. And it was it was a reminder, especially near the end, that you know,
that it was the end, that it
that
was
it was
time
the
for the
end.
end.
Yeah, it does interesting things to your body and your mind, but never carpal tunnel.
Yeah, my hands didn't work. My both my hands went out, and I said, "This is probably carpal tunnel." They go, "Oh, that usually doesn't happen." And I said, I'm one of the patient number one." So, if having you've never seen this before, because us journalists were hacking away for so long. Um, did you ever lose a phone?
I can tell you, I would misplace them sometimes around, I wouldn't say lose one. I did keep a second one around. I didn't use, Adam was really adept at using two phones. Schefter, I was not adept at it. It always felt confusing to me. But I did have a spare around that I could, even with a different number, you can forward the number. There's a way and with Apple, to log into it where I could have used that in case of emergency. I would leave it around the studio at ESPN. That second phone, sometimes I would wander off with the first one and forget where I left stuff, but I never was in a crisis. I've had them malfunction, feel like I need a new phone, breaking on me, that stuff, but never physically lost it.
What actually breaks? Like, does the on the iPhone, what happens when you use your iPhone more than Tim Cook? So what actually breaks?
The one thing, actually, the biggest issue I had a couple years ago, I was in LA and somebody, my phone got hacked, and trying to get a new phone I remember I was in LA for NBA Countdown. I would say it was 2 years ago. And I had a very lucky period of time because it went from like late on a Saturday afternoon until early on a Sunday where I couldn't use the phone at all. And I was locked out of my Twitter. My Twitter was hacked. My phone was hacked. And I didn't have one news story that I had a break. It was a pretty long period of time, and I would challenge myself to find as big of a window where I didn't have anything. And I got really lucky. But that was more of a hacking situation than the phone breaking.
Is the phone in a protective case in the shower? Is that accurate that you have a shower case?
I never had a phone in the shower. I know Adam's talked about that again. My habits aren't always that. I love Adam. Our habits aren't always the same, but I've always had a protective case on it because, you drop it, the thing can crack on you. So that only made sense to have a case on it. But yeah, yeah.
Did you ever, so I know I don't, do you delete your texts, or do you just let them expire, or what's your practice with that?
I don't really ever have reason to delete them. I guess they might expire after a while. I never really fully noticed, but
You didn't have to clean, you wouldn't like clean.
Well, the phones that the phones that folks would be, in this process, they're not going to get the phones with the text messages. They'd be worth a lot more, on the market. I had a GM joke with me that the 30 teams and owners in a league office would probably
pay to buy them. If
they probably, say Bonaventure could probably play in the Atlantic Division of the NBA. We'd have enough NIL to keep a lot of those conversations.
It comes with the full Rolodex. Yeah. It comes with a full Rolodex, all the names.
Yeah, there would be a lot of interesting storylines in there, but they are going to be wiped clean. So you'll know what phone was used for different stories based on the timeline of the phone, but you won't find the text, and a lot of them are phone calls too. They're not always texts, obviously. So what
bombs were sent per se?
Yeah. Most of them, I know people think it's always texting, but I had a rule. Justin Zanuck, who's the GM in Utah, said something to me a long time ago, and it always stayed with me. If you have to text more than 3 times, it's a phone call, and I always tried to follow that rule.
That's pretty cool. Since I know they're not getting the Rolodex, but what is the most uncharacteristic or strangest name that's in your Rolodex? So not an NBA person, not someone part of the job, but along the way, somehow you got their number and, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger or Russell Crowe or something crazy.
So I would say outside of basketball and somebody that I regularly, is it just I have the number or somebody I would
Just the
regularly
number. It
text?
does not have to be a friend. It
Oh,
just it
yeah,
eked its way into the Adrian Wojnarowski Rolodex at some point.
that's a good question.
And for those young people, a Rolodex was a thing that you spin, but now it's
Yeah,
just.
I have one. I can see one on my desk that hasn't been touched in
Oh,
12
maybe that
years.
could be out there.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
that
there
could.
is a Rolodex. It's got
Is that
business
is
cards
that
in it.
is that from the Fresno Bee or the
Yeah, probably Bergen
Albuquerque?
Record.
Yeah,
Yeah, I bet
Bergen
you it's
Record.
from
Yeah.
then. Yeah. I would say, and I'll only say it because we do, chat. And in fact, I have an interesting NBA. Um, I have an interesting NBA text chain that involves this individual's favorite NBA team and GM. But Nicholas Braun, who was known as, of course, Cousin Greg in
Yeah.
Succession, really accomplished actor, big Golden State Warriors fan. And there's an occasional text chain that comes to life with Nick Braun, Bob Myers, Mike Dunleavy Jr. It used to be when it was Mike and Bob working together in Golden State. Now Bob is stepped down and Mike's running the team. But Nick will share his trade deadline ideas with Mike and run them past me sometimes. And so it's fun to get his perspective on the NBA. He great actor, great guy, and a huge Warriors fan.
What is the worst place you've been in to break a story? So for me, I will remember this forever. It was a Labor Day barbecue, and my wife said, "No phone, no phone. We're not doing phone today. Nothing's going to happen." And that's when Colin Kaepernick signed with Nike. I was running the barbecue with the steak and I mean, total disaster. 30 people coming over. She's never forgotten it. We're still married, thank God. But what was the Woj bomb that was just not convenient to your life at the point of where you were in that moment?
I remember my son had a travel basketball game, and I stepped out. It was early evening. We were in northern Jersey. He must have been. I remember what the story was. I think it was Dwayne Wade finalizing a contract buyout with the
With the
Bulls, right?
Yeah, with the Bulls.
Right.
Yeah.
And my son had I missed it, and I don't
You
think it
missed the
was.
whole game.
I didn't miss the whole game, but
Oh.
he had a run late in the game where he went on a crazy run. Told me he had his Tracy McGrady moment where he made 3 or 4 threes in the last couple of minutes, won the game, and I had stepped out of the gym and missed it. And so I still think about that one and feel bad because he didn't have a lot of those. He's a music major in college now, and still plays pickup hoops and loves it. But I was disappointed I missed that one. That one's always been a little bit of a kick in the gut. That one stays with me. There's a million others of things I had to step out of that I wished I hadn't had to, but that's one that sticks with me.
What was there any video evidence or no?
No video evidence, but there was circumstantial evidence in the gym when I walked back in. It was like, how did you miss that?
So what is it like not being, because it's a life, people don't get it. I mean, it's insane. It gives you, there's the work anxiety that what is it like to step away and to step away so suddenly, cold turkey, people would say.
It's been great. I haven't looked back on it and wished for a moment I was still doing it. I love the career I had. I loved working with the people I worked with. I can still keep in good touch with them. But I really love what I'm doing and immersed in that and working really hard at it. But I would say the biggest difference is I'm more present. I think I'm more present with people, whether it's my family, friends, the people I'm working with now. I can shut my phone off for this conversation and turn it back on. And there's not going to be anything that I can't, call somebody back on or deal with in an hour or 2 hours where in the previous job, your world could change a lot in 1 or 2 minutes. And there was a certain anxiety that you kind of felt like there was this anvil over you. You went to bed with it. You woke up with it if you were really competitive at this. And it's nice to not, I'm still in a very competitive arena at St. Bonaventure, and working, building our roster and building out our NIL and putting a lot of time into it. But it's a different, there's a different cadence to it that I really enjoy. And I just knew in the last year at ESPN that I was at the end. I just knew it was what I wanted to do. It was not really a very hard decision. I did not labor over it. I just felt like I knew it was time. And I was fortunate to be in a position where we could step away. And there's not really been a moment where I look back and said, oh, hey, I wish I was involved in a trade deadline, or I wish I was involved in, I guess I haven't missed a draft yet, but any of it. I'm more than at peace with it, and did it for a long time, and was ready to do something different.
What was your reaction, and where were you when you saw the Luka-AD trade?
No real reaction. I was going to bed, and got a couple text messages from a couple of people in the NBA. I looked, I saw it. I shut my phone off and I went to sleep. I was focused on, we had a big recruiting visit coming that I was planning for that recruit. And that was my focus, was working on his visit and being prepared for it. And I've not spent much time thinking about it. I know it's a big NBA trade, and don't know the circumstances behind it. Don't know the reasons. Haven't asked anybody. I just was focused on the job that I've got, and there'll be other big trades and free agent signings and hirings and firings, and I'll be focused on my job. And so, that's.
I hope you told that young. I hope you told that young man the focus is on you, not on anything else. What's it like? What's it like to be running the show? Obviously, this is, for a lot of us old journalists, this is the dream. I'd love to do this at Northwestern. This is this time has kind of afforded us. This is the state of business now. So, how do you enjoy doing it? What's your day like?
I love it. I love the one thing that I didn't lose when I switched was my competitive nature. And this is a really competitive industry. And so I have found that a lot of the traits that helped me previously to do that job help me here in relationship building and being tenacious. You were tenacious at stories. Now you're trying to be tenacious in recruiting, and then also retaining the players you have, and then raising and putting in some sustainable mechanisms for NIL, which is vital. And so I've poured myself into that. Bonaventure's a special place for me, just like I know Northwestern is for you, Darren. And, I feel a responsibility. There's so many people, friends of mine who are in our industry, and then others, of course, who I went to school with, who I've gotten to know through the years, who, want us to do well. And I want to serve our coaching staff and our athletic department in helping navigate us through what's a pretty challenging time in college sports, and keeping St. Bonaventure, which is a unique place. There's other schools that are as small as us, 1,800, 1,900 students, but they're not playing in the Atlantic 10 Conference. They're not playing against VCU and Dayton and St. Louis and, much bigger, more well-funded schools. And yet we've been among the elite in the Atlantic 10, top 3 or 4 by any metric, over the last dozen years or so with Coach Mark Schmidt. And so just trying to contribute there. But I love it. And I love our guys. I love being around our players and their families, and trying to help them with the things they're looking for in their situations at Bonaventure. And then when they're going to leave Bonaventure and go out into the world, to try to bring value to them and put people in their lives who can help, guide them on and off the court. I really enjoy that part of it. And it's fun it's a puzzle. You're trying to put a puzzle together when you're building these teams. And so to help our coaching staff do that, I'm loving it. And so we're about to go through, for me anyway, the first recruiting period, the portal. So the portal, but you'll have portal guys, you'll have international players working on a lot of those, junior college, high school, Division II, Division III. There's players at all levels who can help you. And so you're trying to exhaust all of those. I'm getting ready to go to Europe for several days in March and go see some guys there and bounce around. And it's exciting.
Yeah, and then you have the NCAA and everything else happening where it's, percentage of, I mean, it's a game, right? Because you don't even know what the rules are going to be in the next 24 months. So, it's really interesting. Let's get to you, Jake. Okay, so what are we doing here? We have 8 phones, right? And we have a couple credentials, couple draft credentials.
Yeah. So can show you in person some particularly cool ones. So this is the iPhone XR
Okay.
that Woj used to break LeBron James to the Lakers, Kyrie and KD to Brooklyn, amongst many other things. So feels like I'm
You gonna,
literally.
we need to get that signed in silver paint pen on the back. Can we do
So
that?
we're gonna leave this up to the customer. If somebody wants it as just the phone on its own, that's totally fine.
And
If
they now, do you have to buy all 8, or you could each one is being bid out? How is this working?
So we're gonna sell them individually. I think as collectors, especially the modern collector, people really want items that represent a moment that they're excited about. So we think it's a super cool opportunity to sell each individual phone as it represents specific moments that touched most of the basketball fans across the world.
They get it signed by Woj, then get it signed by LeBron, then they get it signed by Rob Pelinka. I mean, it's endless.
Yeah,
Uh,
and credentials as well. So we have here's Woj's ESPN credential.
it's the Walt Disney Company. I have one of those.
Yeah. Credential from Woj's last draft, which the world didn't know, but Woj, correct me if I'm wrong. I think you had an idea that
Yeah.
might be the last one. So definitely
That's right.
represented something
Now
special to you.
hold that up again. I want to show everyone all the access points there. That's how you know that you're a big dog. Otherwise, you just have one. He's got the F, the 2, the 4, the L, and the V. So that's a big one. Okay, so we have some of that. Now, how is this all going to work out? Because obviously this is with the DAPS Bounty introduction. Tell everyone how this is going to work out when it goes down.
Yeah, so we'll have all these amazing items listed on the site. People will be able to come on and place an offer for them and effectively bid for them. At the end of the bidding period, the high bidder will win each item, and as we mentioned, each buyer can choose if they'd like to have it autographed and or inscribed by Woj as an add-on. From there, they'll get their hands on the item, and people will be able to make offers for some pretty incredible experiences as well, such as being able to have dinner with Woj in the off season, jump on a video call, talk about some things, and yeah, that'll all be able to be done through the same site.
With the money going to St. Bonaventure. So literally, if the Bonnies make the tournament, this could be, the beginning, right? I mean, this could be a lot of money here. So wow, I should have not I haven't broken the stories, but I actually did a pretty good job of returning my iPhones, but I probably shouldn't have. Probably one fiftieth of what Woj is getting. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. Woj, it's great to see you.
Great to see you too,
You
Darren. Thanks
got
for having
color in
us.
your you look great. Yeah, you look great. And Jake, congrats on Daps Bounty. Think that it was a long time coming, and it's great to see that there's one company that's organizing it all.